Please describe your job title and primary duties.
So for the majority of my time at Starbucks, I was a barista. Now at the end, for the last 2 months or so, I was promoted to be a barista trainer. Primarily in my experience, what they did at Starbucks was they took where you were the most comfortable. So when you went in and did your training, the training was like a 2 or 3 week long process. It was a long training process. And they judged where you were kind of the best. So if you were immediately really good at making the drinks, kind of the rest of your time at Starbucks is going to be sitting on that bar making the drinks. I shined out specifically with my communication skills. So they immediately put me on the front register, and then when our store got a drive-through, I worked primarily on the drive-through. So there's more than just making coffee as your job. There's all sorts of different positions there. Basically, everyone who starts there starts as a barista. I believe that they do seasonal as well, but I'm not 100% positive on that. But within the barista position, there's multiple different positions that you could be working. You could be working the main bar, you can be working the cafe bar, drive-through window. They have front register and a support team. So support is kind of you're cleaning the store, you're working on that, and you're working on inventory. Whereas the drive-through, you're communicating with guests, your job is to upsell, and if you're on the bar, speed is key.
Please describe the application and interview process.
So I had applied online. It was an online application. It was fairly simple, fairly straightforward. They called me about a week later. They were pretty quick about it. And they had me go to a hiring event because I applied, if you're applying in the fall time, that's when they do a lot of hiring, bulk hiring. So they had me go to a hiring event where I sat down in front of a single store manager, did an interview, and then they basically just told me from then, you're starting here with this store manager, this is your start date. I know for other people that was a very different experience. I was brought in specifically because of the hiring event. For people doing the normal application process, it takes, on average, I was hearing from coworkers about 2 to 3 weeks to hear back. And there's a series of interviews where you're interviewing with the store manager, the district manager, and then they place you in the store.
What questions did the interviewer ask during the job interview?
Their questions were much more past experience based, much more personality based. Starbucks is not looking for someone who knows how to make every single drink and can identify coffee by smell. They don't need that. That's something that can all be learned. They're definitely looking for a personality, 100%. So they're looking to make sure that you can go in there and deliver the core values that they have, which is service with a smile. They want you to be as happy and upbeat as they can possibly have you be. They did ask a lot of questions also focusing on managerial experience, just to make sure that you could work as a team. I mean, it's a team environment. Very rarely are you doing something independently. Everyone kind of works off of each other.
How were you notified that you received the job?
I was notified day of my interview. Again, that was probably because it was a hiring event. They said that I just shined out a little bit more, especially because at the time that I had applied, I was already a manager at a different job. But for the most part, again, from stories I heard, and actually I dated a coworker, her experience was a little bit different. It took her about another week after her interview before they gave her a phone call. It was the store manager who said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know you got the job. Everything went through okay. Are you able to start Friday?" And I think she got called on a Tuesday, so it only took a couple of days to really get her in.
What other advice would you give to a job seeker looking to gain employment?
Starbucks ultimately was a fun job. I am still actually friends with a lot of people who I used to work with there and a lot of customers. I mean, you build a lot of connections there, especially depending on where you work. I worked in an area where there were a lot of business people, so it actually helped me get a job after Starbucks. I met an HR consultant who helped me get another job, which was fantastic. But if you are someone who really can't handle drama and cannot handle a fast-paced environment, it's not a job for you. Starbucks expects an entire order through the drive-thru, regardless of the size, to be out in about 40 seconds. So if you cannot operate in super fast environments and you don't work well with a team, it's not a job for you.